So I've got a bit of a bag comparison for you today. 3 very classic top handles. I'm going to let you know what I think of them and which one would I probably recommend. Hello, and the warmest of welcome to today's video. For those of you who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, fab to have you here. For those of you who have seen my face before, thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you're enjoying my videos. I put out videos roughly 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion, slightly more personal topics. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please do head down, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I love chatting with you all. I'm all about living life loud, and what that means to me is being your authentic self, being proud to be you, and just celebrating who you are. Celebrating yourself and celebrating others. So, I have a bag comparison for you today. 3 quite classic top handles, signature top handles within their respective brand ranges. And I'm going to share with you their functionalities, my thoughts on them, some of the options that you can get them in, and ultimately which one do I recommend. So we're going to go through a fair few topics here, but let's first introduce you to the bags. We have contestant number 1, the Aspinal of London Tote. I have mine in Chack Hill Blue, pebbled leather with gold hardware. Contestant number 2, the Mulberry Bayswater. I have a very unclassic Mulberry Bayswater here. This is Trippy Tiger denim in the heritage style with the silver hardware and the ice blue leather. And finally, contestant number 3 is the Longchamp Roseau in the largest size, and this is in the monogram canvas with a burgundy mock croc leather trim. So 3 large top handle bags within their respective collections. Let's just talk them through and I'll tell you what I think of them. So let's go to number 1. I've spoken about this bag recently. I've only recently acquired it, but I've been using it quite a lot. So I feel like I'm in quite a good place to talk about it. And this is the Aspinal of London Tote. So this is called the London Tote. It is in this pebbled leather. The colour is Chack Hill Blue, as I said. And this is a top handle style. However, you are able to get it over your shoulder, you know, marginally. If I wasn't wearing a jacket, that would be far easier. In terms of the functionality of this bag, it doesn't have a zipper on the top. It does have a zipper in the center compartment, then has this magnetic closure here, and you have 1 large pocket on the right hand side, and then 2 pockets on the left hand side, which are great for things like a phone, etc. And then it has this nylon-esque lining on the interior in this lovely champagne color. It's a very nice bag. Next up, we have the Mulberry Bayswater. Now, I have just picked this one because although these are classic styles, each of these are not classic in terms of their colour or pattern or print. But this is the Bayswater. The Bayswater is very simple in terms of its design. Essentially, it is a large open space, and then you also have a pocket on the back. My Nile mock croc is the exact same layout, although they have different linings. But what the Bayswater also has is the ability to release the sides. As you can see, they are cinched there by leather. You can release the sides here. And this one has a turn lock closure. It has a flap and turn lock closure on the front. Then we have the Longchamp Roseau. This is no stranger to my channel. I've spoken about this one a lot. This again is a top handle bag. This you could not put over your shoulder. The Bayswater you could possibly put over your shoulder. I should have said that. This, in terms of the layout, very similar to the Aspinal, except for the fact that it doesn't have the center compartment. It just has 1 large open space with a compartment here, and then you have 2 large pockets here as well. So very similar, it is just missing that center. And this can pop up to give it extra space. And the closure, it does not have a zip, but it has this metal buckle. This has feet, all 3 of them have feet actually. So that is a bonus. So looking at these from a practicality perspective, which would I say is the most practical? This is a 36 centimeter top handle bag. This is a 40 centimetre top handle bag. This is also a 40 centimetre top handle bag. It is very, very close between these two as to which one is arguably the most practical and has the greatest capacity. The reason that I'm going to say this one is the most practical is for a specific reason. Whilst they are both very similar in size, this one, this Aspinal Tote, is just a little bit wider than the Longchamp, and also having this center zip compartment is absolutely fantastic. It is so useful in terms of just being able to slide in documents and things like that, something that you don't necessarily want so easily revealed or that you can compartmentalize. I like that I can put my laptop on one side and then I can put my other items on the other side, and it all feels nicely segmented without having to have something like an organizer in it. I really like the practicality of this. It fits absolutely everything I need. It's also got a great kind of depth to it as well, so you can just fit so much. You can very easily fit a bottle of water, your lunch, a cosmetics case, plus a laptop, plus an iPad, anything else that you need, and you're good to go. This has a very similar capacity. It's just not quite as wide as the Aspinal bag, but it is still very, very practical. Where this does have this slightly clinched though, and this is a great feature, is this clip here, which I put my car keys on, which means that you're just not scrabbling around for them in the same way, but you could put anything on that you wanted to be quickly to hand there. But again, really practical, really easy to use, just doesn't compartmentalize in the same way. However, you could fix that very easily with a bag organizer. This is also a very practical bag. It's a big open space. You can fit a significant amount in it. It's just not as organized. I do put an organizer in this, but it's just not as organized as the other two. I don't think the interior has been as well thought through as the other two. So I would say from a practicality perspective, it's the smaller bag. The interior has not been as well thought through. Even though you can expand it, it's still going to be a little bit more limited. It's also not as high or as deep, whatever that is, as the other two. So it just loses out a little bit on practicality. Let's talk about price. And from a price perspective, there is a clear winner when it comes to the pricing structure. It is by far the least expensive RRP, full RRP, non-sale, pre-loved. Just if you were to walk into a boutique, ask for it, and it was full price on the shelf, and that is the Longchamp Roseau. It is beautifully made, it is beautifully thought through, it's a very successful, very elegant, very chic bag, number of different options available, and you can pick these up for circa £415, which is a really good price point. The Aspinal of London Tote, full RRP for the largest size, which is what this is £650. A Mulberry Bayswater, you will not get much change out of £1,200 if you were buying it RRP. So from a price perspective, bag for your money, bang for your buck, you are looking at the Longchamp Roseau as being the most successful. You would then have the Aspinal London Tote as the second most successful. Then you would have the Mulberry Bayswater. However, and this is a big however, whilst we've just talked about price, let's go to aspect number 3, which is brand. And I would personally say from a brand perspective, that slightly shifts. What do I think the most successful or most valuable would be in terms of its brand? Mulberry. I think the Mulberry sits in perception of luxury in a slightly different category to the other two. What do I think comes second? The Longchamp bag. I think that Longchamp sits above Aspinal in terms of the perception of the products. Aspinal is little known, I would say. It's one of those brands when you know, if you know it, you love it, but not everybody has been on that journey. I think Longchamp has a lot of heritage, has a lot of heart, but then Mulberry has really cemented itself as a very classic British fashion accessories creator. So I do think it's close. I think it is close between these two, but I do feel that the perception of this brand is greater than the perception of this. In terms of variations that are available, if you work across the size range, I would say that you are in a similar ballpark of variations when it comes to each of these bags. These Aspinal totes come out in a different colour every single kind of season. They have beautiful, beautiful colours, and they do very, very well in the sales as well. But they do bring them out in seasonals, but they also do have a classic set that exist within the collection. They also do bring them out in multiple materials as well, so you can buy them in pebbled leather. They've sometimes done smooth leathers, they've done canvas, so there are options when it comes to this. And I went for, mine was in the sale as you know, but I went for one that was slightly less classic, that was a little bit more bold, and it very much suited my colourful aesthetic. The Longchamp Roseau tends to have less options available. They do sometimes vary it season after season, and they do have some staples that exist, but you don't tend to see as many variations. This particular one I bought outlet, and I do think that they had it in the store. I can't remember when it was in the store, if I'm honest. They don't have that many variations of the Roseau. Across the different sizes, yes, they have a fair few, but for this particular size, the large, you won't find that many. So this is probably the least varied across the three. And I would say that the most varied is this, the Bayswater. The Bayswater comes in a range of different materials. It comes in different sizes, but in this particular size, you can buy nylon, you can buy leather. Of course, I've got this particular fabric one, which is a seasonal piece and differs year on year, but you can buy them in different colors. They bring out different seasonals, and you can get monograms. You can get lots of different pieces when it comes to the Mulberry. And I just think that there's a lot of diversity with this bag, different hardwares, different styles. And I do feel that the aesthetic is very, very different for this bag, dependent on the variation you go for. Like I said, I have two. Let me get it. This is my Mock Croc Nile. This is my Trippy Tiger denim. These have such a different aesthetic to them. The bag just feels so different. Even though it is the exact same shape and the exact same style, it just feels so different because of the variation that I have. And that's what you can do with a Bayswater. So for example, if I were to buy one in hot pink leather or a monogrammed leather, again, you would have a very different look and feel than the two that I've already got. So in terms of variation, it is very close with the Aspinal because they do a lot of variations in that particular bag. But I just feel like the Bayswater, you can more closely align with your personality and your personal aesthetic, dependent on what you want that to be. So I do feel that this is probably the more versatile when it comes to the range of options available. Okay, now for ease of use. And again, this is a close one. However, ease of use, I would say we are going for number one, is the Aspinal. It is just so well laid out. It is very easy to access. It is very easy to fit everything in. You can see what's there. Love the fact that you also have the champagne coloured lining, which means that any phone, wallet, key stands out against it. It's a very neutral background, so it's a very easy interior to find things within. And I like the fact that you have so many different compartments. It's very, very easy to use, very simple, but very effective. Next up, I would say that the Roseau is probably second most easy to use. Again, compartmentalization. I like the fact that you can popper it and unpopper it. The fact that it's open, doesn't have a zip, doesn't bother me quite so much because it just means that I can reach my hand in and grab whatever I need. One of the reasons that it doesn't have the quite same ease of use as the Aspinal is because with the interior, it is difficult to find things in there. So that can somewhat limit it, but what I need to get a little bit better at is utilizing this clip. And also, if there's something that I know I'm just going to need to grab and find, I just need to put it in the pockets. So I need to get a little bit better at doing that, but it is a very, very easy to use bag. I have no problems with it. It's done me very well. Again, the Bayswater, easy to use. simple, effective. I like the fact that I can find stuff. What makes this a little bit more difficult, I guess, would be the fact that it just, you know, you have to do that every time you want to get into it. So, you know, you're there, you're swinging it on your arm, off you go. Oh, I need to get something out. Got to lift the flap, right? Go in, put that in. Oh, you know, you have to go through that process every single time. On the whole, I actually don't tend to close the lock. I tend to just leave it open. Sometimes the flap just kind of sat on top of the lock. It just makes it easy to get in and out of, but it just makes it all a little bit more cumbersome, and so it's just not quite as easy. It also bugs me the fact that I can't get a flipping scarf to stay properly wrapped around the handles. It's so blooming annoying, but you know, never mind. Never mind. However, conversely, what I would say, from a security perspective, if security is something that you're very concerned about, this is hands down your better one. This Roseau is probably number 2. The Aspinal is the easiest for wandering hands because the sides, as you can see here, are, you know, there's a lot of space that even if it's on your arm, you've got quite a lot of room that someone could potentially put their hands into. So these, from a security perspective, go in reverse order of ease of use. And actually, I think the fact that they are so easy to use is what makes them less secure. So kind of flip that back when it comes to ease of use. Now, we talked about pricing RRP. Let's talk about the ability to acquire at a discount, okay? The ability to acquire at a discount. Now, all of these brands have sales. They absolutely do. The brands that has the best sale off of RRP, Aspinal of London. I paid £195 for this. It was £650 RRP. That is the best sale price. Longchamp get down to about 50% off. Mulberry, you never tend to see much more than 30 or 40. Sometimes you get the odd 50. You don't tend to see so much more. You can get them at outlets, but again, not huge discounts. You're looking at probably maximum 40 or 50%. Longchamp, similar story at outlet. You can probably get to about 50% off of the RRP. Aspinal do have the odd outlet. However, I haven't been to one in such a long time that I can remember what they cost. I've only ever really bought online. Preloved. Because you're starting at a lesser price point, you will always get a better deal on the Longchamp and the Aspinal because the price point is just that much lower to begin with. However, the Preloved hero in this particular one is absolutely the Mulberry Bayswater. You can get these for a fraction of the price because they just don't hold their value. They often feature in people's first luxury bag and then they disappear. Then they want to move them on. They want something different. Perfection for individuals like myself who think this will always be a staple of their collection. They work very well for me. Love a big bag, love a top handle. These will always work for me. But this is the Preloved hero when it comes to this particular list. So now let's talk about the one that I would personally recommend the most out of these bags. And recommendation is a slightly different thing to the one I love the most, okay? Because the recommendation is the rational compilation of everything that we've just discussed. The love is throw all of that out the window and just go with what's in my heart. The one that I would recommend and that I think is actually on balance the best bag of the 3, the Aspinal of London Tote. I think it's such an effective bag. I think it is stunning. It is beautiful. It is just, it comes in so many variations and you can just really align your personality to it and you can get such great deals on these. It is so practical. It is a fabulous bag. It truly is. The Longchamp isn't far behind in terms of being the best bag. Okay. However, the one that I love the most is the Mulberry Bayswater. I can't explain it. Of the 3, it is the worst bag. Okay? But let me say this. These are still, we're talking all of these are minimum 8 out of 10 bags. Okay? These, yeah. I would say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So we are pretty close in terms of all of this, but this just makes my heart sing. This particular one, I mean, I love this denim. I love the Trippy Tiger. I love how different it is, but there's just something about this mock croc, and I think it's because it is so different to something that I would normally wear. I love the sophistication of it, and I love how you can wear it with something so bold and so vibrant, but then you could also wear it with something that's quite muted and something that's quite, you know, peeled back. So I love that about it. So there's just something about this that really captures my heart. It just makes me smile. And I'll be honest, in this instance, the fact that this brand has a little bit more kudos does mean something to me. Doesn't mean it doesn't stop me from carrying the other stuff. It doesn't stop me from recommending it. It doesn't stop me from loving it. But there is just something about the fact that, you know, at 27, did I think I would have 3 Mulberry bags? No, I didn't. If you just said that to me 5 years ago, I said, there's no way, they're too expensive. There's no way I could afford to do that. The fact that I'm in a place where I can do that, I'm really proud of myself for that. So that's why this means something to me. However, on balance, the better bag is this. It's marginal between all of them. Like I said, it would go, in terms of the best bag, London Tote, Roseau, Bayswater. The one that makes my heart sing, Bayswater, Tote, Roseau. But we're splitting hairs. We truly are splitting hairs. So I guess, although I've told you what my favourite would be and I've told you my thoughts on them, I would really say just go and try them. See which one speaks to you. See which one captures your heart. And that's the one that you should go for. I'm very blessed to have all 3. I am loving all 3. I will keep all 3. I will probably add more of these 3 styles. But go with whichever one, because it is not me sitting here saying one's a 4 out of 10, one's a 6 out of 10, and one's an 8 out of 10. They are all very successful bags. There are just small things about certain ones that make them more successful than the other. But have a little watch of this video, see what you think, and let me know. Anyway, thank you so much as always for watching, and I look forward to seeing my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye now. Mwah.